morning, and welcome to Voters News, Fort Bend Voters News. Voters News. Sorry about that. Anyway, so we would like to welcome you. My name is Daphne Jack, and I'm part of the Fort Bend Election News Editorial Board. And we have here on this morning our judge who's running for re-election. Go ahead, Judge, and introduce yourself, please.
Well, I'm Judge Robert Rolnick. I am the presiding judge of the 458th District Court and running for re-election. In terms of my background, of course, I'm an attorney. I've been licensed for 45 years, so that's a pretty good long period of time. Been on the bench since 2019. Handle a very efficient court, have not been reversed, which of course saves the taxpayers a lot of money. Our court handles civil and criminal cases. I'm board certified in personal injury trial law, which is an important qualification that only 2% of the attorneys in Texas have that qualification. And I would very much appreciate being reelected. I enjoy serving the county, and I would appreciate your vote. So go ahead, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right.
So we're going to go ahead with the first question.
All right.
And because of our atmosphere that is going on right now, what are the biggest changes you think we need to make to our justice system?
Well, the key thing, of course, is always cost. It's extremely important for civil litigants. The cost is just extraordinary for the average person to get access to the courts. In terms of the criminal jurisdiction, we do have, of course, court-appointed attorneys, and they are certainly very helpful, and some are very, very good. But of course, to get the top attorneys on the criminal side costs money, and that's a big factor. So it is important. The administration of justice is significant, and I'd have to say cost is the biggest factor. As you know, on the criminal side, bonds, of course, are a big factor. People are innocent until proven guilty, but sometimes the crime is so serious that you're setting bonds where it's difficult for people to bond out of jail, and so I think that would be my response.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
Sarah, go ahead.
Sounds good. I'm Cameron.
I have done that in the 3.5 years I've been on the court. I listen to everyone. I treat people equally, regardless of their station in life. On civil cases, of course, many times we have litigants who are, CEOs of major companies, and that is we treat them significantly. Treat them with respect. And same thing on the criminal side. Even though obviously we have people charged with crimes. Usually, the people charged with crimes are not CEOs of companies. Sometimes they are, of course. But certainly, in terms of shoplifting and other type crimes. We treat them with respect. Another key factor, I think, that people don't realize how serious and a serious a problem it is driving while intoxicated. That is a big problem. And although the first two DWIs are in county court, the third DWI comes to felony court, my court, and the range of punishment, can be, 20 years in jail for driving while intoxicated. And of course, that cuts across all economic spectrums, as you know. And that is a very, very tricky thing to do. You really have to balance the equities, because sometimes, most of the DWIs, there's no injuries. And, you got a DWI, no injuries. People tend to think, well, that's, no harm, no foul. But of course, that is not the case, because it's very, very serious. And so you have to balance that. You certainly hate to send people to prison, who haven't been there before. That is a big, big decision for district court judges.
Thank you. One last question, Judge. How will you deal with injustice when you confront it in your courtroom?
Well, the biggest way that a judge can deal with injustice in the courtroom is to get the sides to respond to the judge and make sure that people are not being treated unfairly. On the civil side, sometimes there is a disparity in power, because a lot of times in a personal injury matter, you've got an injured person against an insurance company. Of course, we don't have direct action here in Texas, but everybody knows that it is insurance litigation. So that, of course, creates an imbalance. And again, on the criminal side, remember, it's always, the state of Texas versus the individual. So that's an imbalance to begin with. And the best way I can do that, of course, is hold the state to their burden to prove their case beyond a reasonable doubt, and deal with the evidence that's appropriate. Sometimes you have to make decisions on evidence that are crucial, and you have to balance the equities in that situation.
Okay, thank you, Judge. So in closing, what would you like to tell your voters?
Well, what I'd like to tell the voters is, first of all, I'm seeking re-election as a Democratic candidate for the 458th District Court. I was elected in 2018 when the county turned blue, and was glad to be part of that blue wave. In terms of running for re-election, I'm standing on my record. In the 3 years I've been on the court, I have handled all the cases that have come before me, try cases as expeditiously as I possibly can. I respect the time of the jurors. I've not been reversed. I know one anecdote that I might bring up is that when I was block walking the other day, I rang someone's doorbell and introduced myself, and the individual said, "Well, wait a minute, I know you because I was on your jury a couple weeks ago, and you did a great job," and appreciate that. And of course, I always talk to the jurors and thank them very much for their service. So again, I'm Robert Rolnick, running for re-election for 58th District Court in the Democratic primary, and I appreciate your vote.
Thank you, Judge, and thanks for being here at Fort Bend Voters News.
All right, thank you very much.